When my childhood sweetheart and I were passionately kissing on the sofa, our parents suddenly returned home from a business trip. Our parents stood by and watched for a long time. Both of them had the smiles of a mother-in-law. That very night, they decided to arrange our engagement, but I didn't expect that as soon as the news of our engagement spread, my childhood sweetheart would become like a different person. She was no longer intimate with me and no longer secretly came to my room. We had been in love for 3 years. She gave me the cold shoulder for a whole year for no reason. She didn't reply to my messages until my birthday. I sent her a new message. I've already told your parents that we're not in a hurry to get engaged. To my surprise, the woman who had been cold to me for a year replied immediately, "Okay, he'll come find you tomorrow." I was completely disappointed. I turned around and registered with the school to study at the Australian Institute of Biological Sciences and not return for 5 years. The woman I had secretly loved for 10 years since childhood. I don't want her anymore, but unexpectedly, the night I finished filling out the application, I received a message from my sworn enemy, Xia Yu. I told you that sooner or later, I would have Ru Yan. I have to thank you for this. If you hadn't rushed to get engaged to her, I wouldn't have had the chance. Xia Yu had a secret crush on my childhood sweetheart for many years, but she only liked me. For all these years, we've never liked each other, but I always had the upper hand thanks to my girlfriend's affection. But this time, I lost. My finger hovered over the screen. In the end, I only sent one sentence, then congratulations. Then I put my phone down and didn't reply to any more of Xia Yu's messages. Liu Ruyan called at 12 p.m. the next day. "Pei Yu, I've booked the French restaurant you like. I'm almost at the school gate." Hearing her voice, I vaguely replied, "Okay." When I got to the school gate, Liu Ruyan's white Bentley was already waiting there. I opened the passenger door and was immediately taken aback by the sight of one-piece figures filling my view. The anime decorations and the understated luxury of the Bentley's interior didn't match at all, Liu Ruyan blurted out. "I forgot to tell you, your friend Xia Yu is working as an intern assistant at my company. Xia Yu suggested all these decorations. He said you love One Piece the most. Do you like it?" I pursed my lips and said nonchalantly, "It's pretty good." Soon, Liu Ruyan and I would have nothing to do with each other, so I didn't want to distinguish between what was real and fake anymore. When we arrived at the restaurant, the waiter at the door greeted us enthusiastically. "Miss Liu, will you and Mr. Xia be sitting at your usual spot?" Liu Ruyan's expression darkened. She took my hand directly. "Look closely. This is my boyfriend, not Assistant Xia." After saying that, she couldn't help but look at me, only to see that my expression was completely calm. A strange feeling stirred within her. "Pei Yu, I cut her off. "Let's go in first, I'm hungry." Liu Ruyan watched my back as I walked in ahead. She smiled and shook her head, thinking that she had just overthought things. After sitting down, Liu Ruyan skillfully ordered the dishes that I used to like. Then she got up and went to the restroom. Not long after she left, the phone she left on the table suddenly lit up. I glanced over. The sender was Little Yu. Little Yu? My heart tightened. I picked up the phone and entered my birthday to unlock it. It opened directly to the WeChat interface. The next second, my fingertips trembled. Xia Yu had sent an almost nude mirror selfie. "Last time you said you wanted to play bondage. Are you coming tonight?" I stared at those words, my heart trembling uncontrollably. In all the years I've been with Liu Ruyan, we had never taken the final step. Liu Ruyan had said, "Pei Yu, you are the truest person to me. I want to save my first time for when we get married. Out of respect?" In these years of youthful vigor, no matter how much I suffered, I endured it. But now, I could only laugh at myself. I tormented myself looking at that photo over and over again, until I could no longer feel the pain in my heart. I turned off the screen and put Liu Ruyan's phone back where it was. When Liu Ruyan returned, she saw me sitting there in a daze, and couldn't help but ask, "What's wrong?" I gently shook my head. Liu Ruyan casually passed the glass of mango juice that had just been brought to the table to me. "Don't think about upsetting things anymore here. The mango juice here is very fresh. Try it." I didn't move. I just said softly, "You're allergic to mangoes." Liu Ruyan's face changed in an instant. Just as she was about to open her mouth, she saw me say to the waiter next to us, "Hello, could you please change this to a glass of watermelon juice?" Liu Ruyan was stunned. She suddenly remembered the last time she got my preferences wrong. I was furious, and it took her a whole week of coaxing to calm me down now. I turned my head, my handsome face showing only calmness. I just looked at the menu. "Let's try that cheese-baked escargot." Liu Ruyan suppressed the unease in her heart and said softly, "Pei Yu, tomorrow is the 16th anniversary of us knowing each other. Will you go to Disneyland with me?" I was a bit lost in thought. 16 years took up almost all of my life so far. After a moment, I met Liu Ruyan's gentle gaze and nodded. After we finished eating, Liu Ruyan drove me back to school. After returning to the dorm, I looked at the things in my room, found a black trash bag, and put everything inside. When I went downstairs, I was surprised to find Liu Ruyan still standing downstairs, not having left yet. Our eyes met. Liu Ruyan spoke first. "What are all these things?" I was completely unperturbed and said, "Just some useless things." Liu Ruyan reached her hand towards me. "Give it here, I'll throw it out for you." I looked at her and suddenly chuckled. "Then it'll trouble you." The things she personally gave me, it's very fitting for her to throw them away with her own hands. Liu Ruyan threw those things into the trash can, then hugged my arm coquettishly and said, "If you don't want them, just throw them away. My husband deserves the best things in the world. Whatever you want, your wife will buy it for you from now on." I chuckled. It's true I don't want them, but I don't need her to buy them for me in the future. I didn't want to get entangled in these matters. I blurted out, "Why haven't you left yet?" Before Liu Ruyan could open her mouth, a male voice sounded from behind them. "Hello, are you Xiao Liu? These are the clothes Mr. Xia asked me to give you. They're all brand new." I subconsciously looked over and saw that the transparent bag contained all sorts of school uniforms. My heart twinged. A very popular word popped into my mind. Roleplay. Liu Ruyan took the clothes from the boy's hands. A fiery glint flashed in her eyes, and she explained, "Xia Yu and his sister recently invested in a few school-themed web dramas. They need to use these things." I looked at her and suddenly felt that the woman who had been with me for 16 years had become so unfamiliar. I suppressed the churning in my stomach and said, "I see." Liu Ruyan tossed the clothes into the car, turned her head and said, "Then I'll be going. I'll pick you up tomorrow." Watching her leave in a hurry, a sarcastic smile formed on my lips. I turned and went back into the dorm. The next day was sunny and beautiful. Liu Ruyan was waiting at the school gate on time. I opened the passenger door, only to be face to face with Xia Yu in a uniform. There were glaring marks on his neck. He waved at me. "Hey Yu, I had to beg Xiao Liu for a long time, and she finally agreed to let me go to Disneyland with you two." Liu Ruyan pressed her red lips together tightly, her expression cold, and her tone was somewhat domineering. "Who told you to sit in the passenger seat? This is my Pei Yu's seat. Get in the back." A dark glint flashed in Xia Yu's eyes. He pleaded, "Xiao Liu, I get a little carsick." Liu Ruyan's expression became even uglier. At that moment I said, "It's fine, I can sit in the back." Liu Ruyan's eyelid twitched. Before she could open her mouth, she saw me open the back door and get in. Her face darkened. She got in the car and started the engine. I watched the scenery flash by the window, when Xia Yu suddenly struck up a conversation with me. "Pei Yu, I used to be quite jealous of you for finding such an outstanding girlfriend like Xiao Liu. But I'm not jealous anymore now because I've also found someone who is willing to be good to me." I sat behind the passenger seat and clearly saw Liu Ruyan. Her cold face softened for a moment. My heart trembled at this fleeting tenderness. After a moment, I forced a smile. "Really? Then I wish you two 100 years of happiness." Xia Yu looked through the rearview mirror at my calm eyes and gritted his teeth in anger. Just as he was about to say something, Liu Ruyan spoke indifferently. "Xia Yu, when I'm driving, I don't like people chattering next to me." Xia Yu nodded gently. "Yes, Xiao Liu. Then I won't talk anymore." The car sped down the road and soon arrived at the gates of Disneyland. After Liu Ruyan parked the car, she took my hand and walked straight inside. After entering the park and playing a few games, the heaviness in my heart finally eased a little. Liu Ruyan glanced at her phone and said coquettishly, "Pei Yu, let's go eat first. There's a fireworks show tonight." I didn't refuse, and Xia Yu certainly had no objections. The three of us went into the nearest royal banquet hall, in the crowded restaurant. More than half the seats were taken. Liu Ruyan found a seat by the window and pulled me down to sit beside her. Xia Yu naturally sat opposite Liu Ruyan. As soon as he sat down, Xia Yu complained in a hoarse voice, "My legs are so tired from walking all day." Liu Ruyan said casually, "That's because your kidneys are weak." Although her words were teasing, I could hear the surging ambiguity between them. I laughed at myself internally and bent down to get my phone from my pocket. But just a glance, I saw the flirtatious scene under the table. Liu Ruyan's charming, delicate foot was gently rubbing against the top of Xia Yu's thigh, while Xia Yu's long fingers were gently caressing her smooth toes. The movements were intimate and natural. My breath hitched suddenly, even though I already knew about their relationship. Seeing it with my own eyes still caused me immense pain from the inside out. When I sat up straight, Liu Ruyan happened to look over. The smile on her face was gentle. "Pei Yu, you can't eat spicy food, so we'll remove this spicy specialty dish, okay?" I took a deep breath and tried to stabilize my emotions, whatever. After eating, I lost interest in playing anymore. Xia Yu's eyes flashed with delight. "Pei Yu, if you're not playing, then I'll take Xiao Liu. I want to play go-karts." Liu Ruyan stood beside me and said without hesitation, "No, go find someone else to team up with. I'm staying with Pei Yu." Xia Yu gave her an unhappy look, but still turned and left. Soon after, he found a girl with delicate features. I looked at Liu Ruyan's darkened face and couldn't help but find it amusing. I said casually, "Instead of letting him find a strange woman, why don't you go? At least he won't be taken advantage of." Liu Ruyan's expression immediately tensed, but just 3 seconds later, she let go of my hand and strode towards Xia Yu. I felt the warmth in my palm quickly fade and laughed bitterly. "Liu Ruyan, no matter how much you pretend to love me, you can stop your heart from leaning towards Xia Yu." 8 p.m. Disneyland's most romantic fireworks show began on time. As the music crescendoed, fireworks bloomed in the night sky. The park was adorned with dazzling, dreamlike lights. Liu Ruyan held my hand, standing in the best viewing spot. Amidst the booming fireworks, I heard her say, "Pei Yu, I want to be with you forever." I was stunned for a moment before I could open my mouth. Liu Ruyan covered my eyes. She said, "Pei Yu, the 10 seconds when the fireworks bloom is the most sacred time to make a wish." But I clearly saw through the gaps in her fingers, her turn her head without hesitation, stand on her tiptoes, and kiss Xia Yu, who was standing on her other side. This absurd and glaring scene chilled me to the bone. I closed my eyes and silently wished, "Liu Ruyan, I hope that from now on, I will never have anything to do with you again. The moment Liu Ruyan lowered her hands, I opened my eyes as well. In front of me, Liu Ruyan was smiling brightly at me. Honey, what did you wish for? Tell me. I looked at the smudged lipstick on the corner of her mouth and was about to speak when Liu Ruyan shook her head. Never mind, I won't ask. A wish won't come true if you say it out loud. She reached out and ruffled my hair. Her voice carried an indescribable gentleness. No matter what you wished for, I hope it can come true for you. But if fate doesn't grant your wish, it'll help you make it happen. I watched her slowly curl her lips. Really? Liu Ruyan nodded vigorously. Yes, this is my promise. Behind her were the brilliant fireworks in the sky, and her eyes now only reflected my image alone. I suppressed the sour feeling rising in my heart and smiled at her. Okay. Xiao Liu, I have something to do, so I won't disturb you and pay you anymore. Liu Ruyan subconsciously turned her head, her brows furrowed. Where are you going? Xia Yu held up his phone towards her. Some friends invited me to hang out. Liu Ruyan pursed her lips. Her voice turned cold. Send me your location when you get there. Also tell me who's there. A sweet look flashed in Xia Yu's eyes. Got it, Xiao Liu. Until his back disappeared from sight, Liu Ruyan finally turned her head back. She saw me looking at her. Her heart sank. She said softly, Xia Yu's sister, Xia Ning, is on quite good terms with me. If anything happens to him while he's interning under me, I wouldn't know how to explain it to her. I stared at her face, and suddenly remembered the year I had just started university. At that time, Liu Ruyan had just taken over the Liu group. She was busy all day, never resting, but every day she would make time to visit me at school. Her business attire and the youthful, beautiful campus vibe didn't match at all, but she would still casually hold my hand and walk around the sports field. She would say with a smile, I want everyone to see that Pei Yu is mine. No one should even think about it. I have to admit, Liu Ruyan succeeded. Everyone knew I was taken. But now, Liu Ruyan could ignore me for a year without a word, and also worry in her heart for the safety of another man. I chuckled. My mouth was filled with a bitter taste. I know, the fireworks are over. Let's go home. On the way to the car, Liu Ruyan remembered something and said, Oh right, Pei Yu, are you free this weekend? Xianing is back from abroad. We're planning to throw a welcome party for her. Come with me, okay? I lowered my eyes. Xianing, Xia Yu's older sister. She's been studying abroad since high school. I'm not very familiar with her. Liu Ruyan shook my arm. Pei Yu, you can't be so heartless as to let me go alone, can you? I pulled my hand back. I know. Just send me the address beforehand. I'll go. Only then did Liu Ruyan feel relieved. She dropped me off at the dorm and then drove away. The weekend arrived in a flash. I went to the address Liu Ruyan gave me. It was a top-tier club with excellent privacy. I heard it was opened by several rich kids from our circle. I followed the waiter's directions to the door of a private room and heard a clamor from inside. Sister Ruyan, you were cold to Pei Yu for a year, and he wasn't even angry. You coaxed him back with just a few sentences. No wonder Sister Ruyan said he's the only one for marriage. In the future, even if Sister Ruyan brings another man home to do it, I bet Pei Yu would obediently give them the master bedroom. Then I heard Liu Ruyan's playful scolding. Pei Yu is the husband I've chosen. No matter how much I mess around outside, I will never let him know a single thing about it. You damn women, shut your filthy mouths. Don't let me hear you mention him again. The room went silent for a moment. Then someone spoke cautiously. So Sister Ruyan, you're already pregnant with Xia Yu's child. What are you going to do? A baby? Pei Yu's heart shook violently. Disbelief filled his eyes. And right after, Liu Ruyan's voice, which had been casual before, now became irritated. A bunch of gossips just babbling on and on about my business. Right? The hand I had on the doorknob turned cold. Just then, a voice sounded from behind me. Why don't you go in? I turned around abruptly and saw a beautiful, mischievous face. Her curved eyes were tinged with a smile. I was silent for a moment, then spoke her name. Miss Xia, congratulations on your return. Xia Ning raised an eyebrow. I didn't expect the first congratulations I'd receive upon returning would be from you. I curled my lip and the door behind me suddenly opened, then a soft hand wrapped around my waist. Liu Ruyan's voice sounded in my ear. Honey, when did you get here? Why didn't you call me? I shifted uncomfortably. Just got here. I was about to go in when I ran into Miss Xia. Xia Ning chuckled casually. Liu Ruyan, long time no see. You're still clinging to Pei Yu just like that. Liu Ruyan gave her a displeased look. Xia Ning, he's going to be my future husband. What is there to let go of? Hearing her declare her sovereignty without hesitation, I no longer felt the sweetness I once did. I escaped from Liu Ruyan's embrace and walked straight into the private room to sit down. Today's gathering was originally to welcome Xia Ning. Now that the main character had arrived, the atmosphere became lively. Someone asked curiously, Sister Ning, I heard you were doing very well abroad. Why did you suddenly come back? Xia Ning took a sip of red wine and said casually, My parents told me to come back and find a suitable partner for little Yu. I clearly felt Liu Ruyan's body stiffen beside me, and the gazes of those around us also, whether intentionally or not, fell upon Liu Ruyan. I chuckled inwardly. Then I heard Liu Ruyan speak. What era is this? Still doing old-fashioned matchmaking. Xia Yu is very outstanding. He won't have to worry about finding a good woman. Everyone around agreed. Xia Ning glanced around, just chuckled, and said no more. When the gathering ended, Liu Ruyan walked out of the clubhouse with her arm in mine. Liu Ruyan was just about to open the car door. Her phone rang. She glanced at it. Her expression changed slightly. Then she looked at me beside her. Pei Yu, I have something to do. Can you take a cab back? I looked at her and said, okay. Watching Liu Ruyan get into the car and leave without hesitation, the corner of my mouth lifted in a sarcastic smile. There was a time. The most important person in Liu Ruyan's eyes was always me. But now, all it took was one phone call from Xia Yu to make her lose her mind. I stood at the entrance of the clubhouse. I didn't get the car, Liu Ruyan called. Instead, Xia Ning showed up. She rolled down the window. Pei Yu, I'll take you back to school. I looked at the back seat as the door opened automatically. I reluctantly got in. The car started moving. A faint scent of sandalwood filled the car. The scent made me a little sleepy. But then, Xia Ning, who was driving in front, spoke up. Pei Yu, you know all about Liu Ruyan and Xia Yu, don't you? I immediately sobered up. Xia Ning glanced at me in the rearview mirror and smiled. My brother had a hard time getting Liu Ruyan, and he's never gotten along with you. He's definitely going to show off to you. I didn't understand what she meant. I could only say nonchalantly, Miss Xia, do you think your brother ruining someone else's relationship is something to be proud of? The smile on Xia Ning's face deepened. A love that can be ruined must not have been true in the first place. Pei Yu, how about we make a deal? You let my brother and Liu Ruyan be together. You and I will get married. It'll make you the happiest man alive. Besides, I can guarantee that by my side, there will absolutely be no second man, Xia Ning said with certainty. Pei Yu, be with me. What I can give you is far more than what Liu Ruyan can give you. I took a deep breath and said casually, thank you. I leaned back in the seat and said seriously, anyone looks beautiful under a cherry blossom tree. My love is passionate for anyone. Xia Ning, no matter who I marry in the future, I can become the happiest person. My words echoed in the car. Xia Ning's expression froze for a moment. Suddenly, she was at a loss for words. The car stopped in front of the dormitory. I got out of the car. Polite but distant, thank you very much. In the car, Xia Ning watched my back as I walked into the dormitory. A strong sense of interest suddenly flashed in her eyes. For a whole week, I didn't see Liu Ruyan at all. But the messages from Xia Yu on my phone didn't stop. Pei Yu, Ruyan is pregnant with my child. She's so nervous. She says nothing is more important than our child right now. Even the wedding suite for you two, she was willing to let me stay in it first. Pei Yu, these are the pajamas Liu Ruyan prepared for you. They're really comfortable to wear, Pei Yu. Liu Ruyan's parents called to urge her to marry you, but she said to wait a little longer. Each blatant and provocative message left my heart desolate until the very end. I was able to calmly read all of Xia Yu's messages until the 8th day. Xia Yu sent another message. Pei Yu, you dare to touch my sister. I'm going to kill you. My eyebrow twitched. The phone vibrated violently in my palm. It was Liu Ruyan's call. I answered unconsciously and heard Liu Ruyan's emotionless voice. I have something to ask you. Come to the school gate. I didn't say a word. Liu Ruyan had already hung up. When I got to the school gate, I saw Liu Ruyan standing there with a cold expression. Before I could react, Liu Ruyan pulled me into the car. The sound of the car doors locking was accompanied by Liu Ruyan's merciless questioning. After the gathering that day, why was it Xia Ning who took you back to school? She stared at me. You know very well that the Xia family also intends to have a marriage alliance with your family. Did you even think about my feelings? Looking into her cold eyes, I suddenly found it ridiculous. I pulled my hand away from Liu Ruyan's and said nonchalantly, Liu Ruyan, you suspect that Xia Ning and I have some kind of ambiguous relationship? This sentence made Liu Ruyan's breath catch. She subconsciously grabbed my hand. Her voice softened a few notches. Pei Yu, don't say things like that to provoke me. She ran a hand through her hair in frustration. After Xia Ning took you back to school, she took a picture of your back and posted it on her social media, saying something about it being the first time in her life she's taken a boy back to his dorm. All my friends are asking me about it. As Liu Ruyan spoke, she sounded a little aggrieved. You are my boyfriend, my future husband. I don't want you to be misunderstood by others. I've already told Xia Ning to delete that post. Pei Yu, I absolutely will not allow you to be with anyone else in any kind of relationship. Liu Ruyan's sweet words were like wholesale goods at a market, cheap and commonplace. Not only did they fail to stir any emotion in my heart, but hearing them so much was starting to grate on my ears. But I still nodded. Not just Xia Ning, even the Liu Ruyan in front of me would soon have nothing to do with me. Only then did Liu Ruyan give a satisfied smile. She started the car and said, "There's a party tonight. You're coming with me." She had always been arrogant and domineering. I didn't want to argue with her anymore. Liu Ruyan took me to a styling salon first, to change into a new set of clothes. Only then did she take me to the party. But as soon as we entered, I saw Xia Yu in a handsome suit, and there were quite a few women surrounding him. I saw the smile on Liu Ruyan's face freeze instantly. I chuckled, and proactively let go of Liu Ruyan's hand. Your assistant seems to be bothered by a group of women. You should go help him. Seeing my understanding demeanor, Liu Ruyan's tone softened. Okay, wait for me here. I'll come find you right away. I watched her walk towards Xia Yu, hurrying as if she was about to reclaim her most precious treasure. I calmly averted my gaze. A moment of waiting turned into 3 hours. I was a little tired. I stood up and walked towards the lounge. Just as I reached the door, I heard intermittent gasps coming from inside. Sister, does the chain on my suit turn you on? My heart clenched. Liu Ruyan's charming gasps followed. I love it. You have to wear it for me again next time. Be gentle. I'm carrying your child in my womb. I listened to the unbearable sounds coming from inside. The last glimmer of light in my eyes vanished. I don't even know how I walked out of that banquet hall. The cold wind blew past. I only felt my heart had been brutally ripped out by someone. Shattered tonight. The next day, I had a high fever. I dragged my uncomfortable body to the hospital. Just as I was sitting in the hospital corridor waiting for my name to be called, I heard Xia Yu's voice. Ruyan, I got your prenatal report. The doctor told me, our child is very healthy. You can focus on your meeting. I unconsciously looked over. The unconcealed joy on Xia Yu's face stung my eyes. I looked at the report in Xia Yu's hand, and suddenly remembered Liu Ruyan once telling me, Pei Yu, after we get married, let's have a child. Whether it's a boy or a girl, it'll give them the best love. The memory made me smirk sarcastically. I turned my face away. But just as I left the hospital after getting my medicine, I ran into Liu Ruyan. Our eyes met. A flicker appeared in Liu Ruyan's eyes. Pei Yu, why are you here? The next second, she saw the bag of medicine in my hand. She immediately tensed up. What's wrong? Are you sick? I took another step back. Liu Ruyan was stunned by my action. She looked up, slightly hurt. Pei Yu, are you angry with me? At the party yesterday after I took Xia Yu away, I was held up by a business partner. You know, the Liu family is in a growth phase right now. I can't just ignore our partners. I looked at her hurried explanation, a sense of sorrow in my heart. Liu Ruyan, since when did you become so skilled at lying? I gently interrupted her. Liu Ruyan, I'm not feeling well. I have to go back. Seeing I was about to leave, Liu Ruyan unconsciously pulled me back. You're in this state? How can you go back by yourself? They'll take you back. I was silent for a moment, then nodded indifferently. But I didn't expect that Liu Ruyan wouldn't take me back to the dorm, but to her private villa in the city center. Looking at the villa, which from inside to out was designed according to my wishes to be our wedding home, I suddenly remembered the message Xia Yu had sent. Even the wedding suite for you two, she was willing to let me stay in it first. Liu Ruyan didn't notice my unusual state. She led me inside. Pei Yu, you should move in here. After all, sooner or later you'll be the master of this place. This way, it'll be more convenient for me to take care of you. She turned her head to look at me with a gentle smile. Just thinking about coming home and being able to see you makes me happy. I looked at her smile. My heart instantly turned ice cold. Pregnant with another man's child, yet still saying such nauseating things. I let out a self-deprecating laugh and said softly, Liu Ruyan, you can't give me happiness. My voice was too quiet. Liu Ruyan didn't hear it at all. She pulled me down onto the sofa. You rest for a bit. I'll go boil some water for you to take your medicine. I watched her cheerful back, my heart completely still, without a single ripple. There were 7 days left until I departed for Australia. Let's just consider it our last time together, and then completely sever this 16-year bond. During the days I stayed at the villa, Liu Ruyan came home on time every day, and Xia Yu didn't send any messages either. I rarely had such peace and quiet. I took some time to mention in the family group chat that I was about to study abroad. My father only said one thing, Pei Yu. Your mother and I will fully support whatever you decide. I looked at this message. The gloomy fog in my heart finally dissipated. In a flash, the day of my departure arrived. Liu Ruyan woke up early and made breakfast. She raised an eyebrow at me. Hubby, is this fiancé of yours qualified enough? I chuckled and said, very qualified. At least in the aspect of truly loving me, Liu Ruyan has always been very qualified. Liu Ruyan smiled too. Just as she was about to speak, her phone rang. In just a few seconds, she hung up. Her expression turned serious. Xia Yu is in the hospital. I have to go check on him. I looked at her silently. Okay. Liu Ruyan grabbed her coat. Before leaving, she turned back to look at me sitting at the dining table. A sense of unease suddenly welled up in her heart. Pei Yu, he'll be back soon. Be good and wait for me at home, okay? I pursed my lips. About to say something when I saw Liu Ruyan turn and walk out without hesitation. I smiled and said softly, she really can't wait for a single moment. I sat at the table for a long time before getting up and going upstairs. I turned on the printer. With a soft whirring sound, I printed out all the messages Xia Yu had sent me. Then I pasted them sheet by sheet in every corner of the villa. After I finished all of this, my phone suddenly received a flight reminder message. The flight to Australia, Queensland, will take off in 3 hours. Passengers, please board in a timely manner. I looked at the villa plastered with A4 papers and let out a soft laugh. I took out my phone and sent a message to Liu Ruyan. Liu Ruyan, let's break up. Attached was the picture of Liu Ruyan's prenatal report that Xia Yu had sent me to show off. I blocked all methods of communication from Liu Ruyan and turned off my phone. Then I opened the door and walked out onto the bright path that belonged to me. From then on, I never looked back. Liu Ruyan, the one who betrayed true love will eventually be betrayed by true love. I hope the rest of your life will be difficult. It was almost noon. The special ringtone Liu Ruyan set for me rang. She looked up from her computer, reached for her phone. Face ID successfully unlocked it. On the home screen, the content of the WeChat message I sent her after 11 o'clock was clearly displayed. Liu Ruyan, let's break up. Below was a picture of a test report. The name was Liu Ruyan. Liu Ruyan's heart skipped a beat. She immediately reacted by calling Pei Yu. The call didn't go through. He had blocked her. Liu Ruyan hurriedly switched to a phone call, but the other end reported that Pei Yu's phone was turned off. She didn't have time to think. She grabbed her car keys and drove to the Pei family's house, only to run into my mother who was about to go out. Liu Ruyan rushed to stop my mother. "Auntie, Pei Yu and I had a little misunderstanding. Could you let me see him? I want to explain things clearly to him." My mother frowned at Liu Ruyan. "Pei Yu is done with you. Don't bother him anymore. Liu Ruyan, just break up amicably." After saying that, my mother tried to walk around her, but was blocked by Liu Ruyan again. "Auntie, I'm begging you. I have to see Pei Yu," my mother said impatiently. "You can't see him. Pei Yu has already boarded a plane to study abroad. He clearly doesn't want to see you. Why are you still clinging to him?" "Liu Ruyan, I am your elder. I don't want to say harsh words, but ever since you abandoned Pei Yu in front of both our families last year, when you abandoned Pei Yu in front of both families, you shouldn't have appeared before us again." Liu Ruyan's hands dropped helplessly. "I'm sorry." But this time, no one told her it's okay. No one would forgive her. When Liu Ruyan dazedly returned to the apartment, Xiaoyu had already finished cooking and was waiting for her. Xiaoyu was as gentle and considerate as ever. The apartment, as usual, felt more like a home because he was there. But Liu Ruyan only felt annoyed. Xiaoyu walked over with a smile. "Ruyan, you're back. Come and eat. Today I made your favorite sweet and sour pork ribs." Liu Ruyan looked at him coldly. "I told you, didn't I? Not to tell Pei Yu about my pregnancy?" Xiaoyu was stunned. He gently moved forward to hug her. "I just love you too much." Liu Ruyan pushed his hand away, her eyes filled with anger. "I also said that our relationship was just consensual. The person I love the most is still Pei Yu." Xiaoyu's face turned pale. "Ruyan." Liu Ruyan frowned, rubbing her lower abdomen. "I'm going to abort this child. I will only marry Pei Yu. The father of my children in the future can only be him." Xiaoyu never expected Liu Ruyan to be so heartless. Looking at the beautiful face that once captivated him, he couldn't believe it. A fire of anger raged in his chest. "Liu Ruyan, let me tell you. Pei Yu knew long ago that you slept with me. He decided to leave you long ago. He doesn't love you anymore. Maybe he never loved you at all." Liu Ruyan's eyes turned red. She covered her ears and shouted, "Shut up! Pei Yu can't not love me. If you hadn't seduced me, how could Pei Yu and I have ended up like this? But it doesn't matter. Pei Yu loves me very much. He can leave me. He will definitely forgive me." Xiaoyu couldn't help but laugh. "Forgive you? Forgive you for what you did under me while you were avoiding him?" Liu Ruyan was furious. She couldn't help but slap Xiaoyu. "Shut up, I'm getting an abortion tomorrow." "Xiaoyu, you were just a momentary distraction for me. You're not worthy." As soon as the words left her mouth, the sound of a door slamming echoed loudly. Xiaoyu slammed his fist on the table, staring desperately at the closed door. The sweet and sour pork ribs on the table had gone cold. 5 years later, the moment I stepped out of the station, the humid air enveloped my body like rain. Through the various cars and crowds of people, I saw my mother and father across the street waving at me. "Pei Yu, you've gotten thinner." That was the first thing my mother said when she saw me. I smiled slightly and hugged her. Not at all. Dad took the initiative to pull the suitcase, turning his head to look at me several times. He muttered softly, "He really has gotten thinner." Although I've been to many cities growing up, I feel this place is unlike any other. This place holds too many memories of me and my family. A part of me has even taken root here and blossomed. In the car, Mom said there's a cocktail party tonight and asked if I wanted to go. I knew that if it wasn't an important party, she wouldn't ask me right now. So even though I had sat on a plane for over 10 hours, I still agreed. Just after agreeing, I received a call from Jiang Ni. The woman's teasing voice came through the phone. "Pei Yu, have you arrived yet?" "I've arrived and I've met my parents." Jiang Ni chuckled softly. "You'll be back in a month, and then you'll go with you to meet your parents." I lowered my head and smiled happily. "Okay." Thinking about my parents being in the car, I didn't talk much with Jiang Ni. I quickly hung up. Mom smiled. "Is this the Xiao Ren you told us about?" I nodded. She said she'll be back in a month. When she's back, it'll bring her to meet you both. Although my mother didn't know Jiang Ni well, she could see the happy smile on my face, so she had a good impression of Jiang Ni. Dad didn't say anything. He just reminded me about the party tonight. Perhaps I hadn't attended parties like this for too long. It wasn't until I stepped into the banquet hall that evening that I truly felt like I was back. As soon as I entered, someone called my name. Looking into the distance, the banquet hall was filled with figures both familiar and strange. I don't know who organized the cocktail party, but everyone with a bit of a name in the circle was there. At first I was a bit reserved, but after laughing and chatting with them for a bit, I discovered that even though I'd been gone for 5 years, when it came to occasions like this, the familiarity was ingrained in my very bones. It was as if I had never left. I suddenly felt a bit sentimental. 5 years is actually a very long time, but it seems that compared to the pace of change in this circle, it's not even worth mentioning. I raised my wine glass, silently listening to the lively conversations of others at the party. My eyes looked up at the screen that was showing the introduction of some project. Suddenly someone said, "Liu Ruyan has been managing the Liu family quite well lately. My dad keeps mentioning her." Hearing that familiar name after so long, my heart grew cold. The first 20 years of my life and Liu Ruyan were intertwined like vines. But now the two of us were walking the most unfamiliar paths. I was in a daze, completely oblivious that the person next to me had changed the topic to me. Pei Yu. I remember you and Liu Ruyan were about to get engaged before. Are you still in contact with him now? His name was suddenly mentioned, and I froze for a moment. Then I quickly smiled and replied, no. The 5 years I was away were like a period of secluded training. That person raised his wine glass and clinked it with mine. 5 years went by so fast. I calmly agreed, that's right. At the party, glasses were clinking back and forth. I glanced at the person who had just stood next to me. I remember now. His name is Xie. It seems he's also a friend of Xiaoyu. I let out a sigh. I was just about to make an excuse to leave, when I heard Xie call out, Brother Yu, over here. If I leave now? It would seem intentional. Sure enough, as soon as Xiaoyu arrived, his gaze landed on me. When did you get back? Xiaoyu didn't say my name, but I knew he was asking me. To avoid making the atmosphere awkward, I said casually, just today. Luckily, Xiaoyu didn't ask anything else. After all, we're not in a relationship where we can chat happily. Then some gossipy person slurred loudly, that's right, I remember 5 years ago, Xiaoyu, in order to pursue Liu Ruyan, became her personal assistant. What happened? Did Xiaoyu win her over? People who don't know the truth just love stirring up trouble. Yeah, did you win her over? Xiaoyu and Xie exchanged a look. It's all in the past, let's not bring it up again. The two of them laughed, trying to change the subject. You didn't win her over? Huh? Yeah, I thought Brother Yu and Liu Ruyan were such a perfect match, the gossip wouldn't stop. Wasn't Liu Ruyan pregnant with Xiaoyu's child? Why aren't they together? Did she get rid of the baby? But none of this had anything to do with me anymore. Thinking up to this point, I was worried that if they kept talking, the topic would shift to me. I raised my wine glass. I see an acquaintance. I'm heading over there. I used leaving as a way to end the topic. I thought to myself how gossipy these people were. I walked behind a screen with a cold expression, and just like that, I unexpectedly met Liu Ruyan's gaze. The woman's beautiful eyes were like sharp blades, severing my nerve responses. My mind went blank for a moment. Then I immediately reacted. I slipped past Liu Ruyan to get out. Liu Ruyan was also stunned. Then she immediately grabbed my wrist. Pei Yu, when did you get back? I pulled my hand away and said coldly, today. Hearing my answer, Liu Ruyan still didn't let go. Instead, she observed me meticulously. After being away from Liu Ruyan for so many years, my handsome face had gained a more mature look. My aura had improved, and at the same time, I had gained the refined elegance of a mature man. My charm was even greater than before. I frowned. Can you let go? Liu Ruyan reluctantly let go of my hand. An apology hadn't even been uttered, when I had already hurried away, avoiding her as if she were a plague. Liu Ruyan watched my retreating back. Her chest heaved noticeably. Her suppressed emotions were slowly breaking down. This time, she absolutely would not let go of Pei Yu. But I wasn't as cold as I appeared on the outside. I had let go of the past between me and Liu Ruyan. But whenever I thought about the hurt Liu Ruyan had caused me, I would still feel resentment. I saw that quite a bit of time had passed. I planned to go inside for one last round of socializing, and then go home. But I didn't expect to let my guard down for a moment, and end up drinking too much. It was past 11 o'clock. The guests started to leave one after another. Many people were dead drunk, being helped away by their assistants. I wasn't that drunk yet. I walked out to the main gate, took out my phone to call a car. Since my parents were still talking in the inner hall, I decided to leave the driver for them. But the venue for the banquet was too remote. For a long time, no one accepted my ride request. Just as I was about to add a tip, a discreetly luxurious Bentley stopped in front of me. The moment the rear window rolled down, I saw the faint outline of Liu Ruyan's face in the half-lit darkness. Let me take you home. No need. I've already called a car. I refused decisively. But Liu Ruyan didn't leave. She stubbornly stayed put. Footsteps could be heard from behind, as well as voices. I didn't want to make a scene, so I had to cancel the ride request and get into Liu Ruyan's car. In the car, Liu Ruyan said nothing. She closed her eyes to rest. She must have been tired. Liu Ruyan didn't speak, and I had even less to say to her. The two of us were silent the whole way, until the car stopped downstairs from my house. Just as I moved to get out, Liu Ruyan spoke up. Pei Yu, did you leave me back then because of Xiaoyu? My movement to stand up was interrupted. I sat back down. Yes, but it wasn't just that. Liu Ruyan lowered her eyes, not looking at me. She didn't have any expression either, if we ignored our current atmosphere. The way Liu Ruyan unconsciously narrowed her eyes had a certain seductive charm. But as I looked at this familiar face, my heart no longer stirred at all. After another long moment, the proud moonlight, the heat of the alcohol radiated from my skin. I started to feel dizzy. I tried to keep my composure. I'm heading home now. Thanks for the ride home today. Pei Yu, can we start over? The two voices sounded almost at the same time, completely out of sync, but incredibly clear. I looked up in surprise, meeting Liu Ruyan's burning gaze. She said, Pei Yu, 5 years have passed, and I still only like you. I was wrong 5 years ago, I admit it. But can you give me another? Give us another chance? I can't be without you. I pursed my lips and averted my gaze. Still only likes me? Liu Ruyan could like me, and at the same time be able to throw me away, to get involved with someone else. That kind of affection. I truly find it disgusting. Moreover, does Liu Ruyan see her cheating as just having done something wrong? To say it so righteously. 5 years have passed. I don't understand where Liu Ruyan gets the nerve to say things to me like getting back together or starting over. Liu Ruyan, I don't like you anymore, and I will absolutely not get back together with you. A look of sorrow seemed to appear in the depths of Liu Ruyan's eyes, along with a hint of disbelief. The two of us fell silent for another 2 minutes. A subtle emotion hung in the air. The alcohol was kicking in. I knew I couldn't keep wasting time like this. I sighed. I really don't want to make things too tense and awkward. I'm leaving now. Liu Ruyan called out to me once again. If we can't be together, then at least give me a chance to pursue you, right? Unblock me. I thought for a moment with my head buzzing from the alcohol. I decided to temporarily go along with Liu Ruyan's wishes. Fine. After saying that, I got out of the car. As I was feeling dizzy, I felt a hand supporting my arm. Let me walk you to your door. Since we were very young, Liu Ruyan had been in my room. After we got together, she was even more unrestrained, to the point that the Liu Ruyan of today could say such a thing so naturally. I frowned. No need. I pulled my arm away from her and quickly went inside. Even though we broke up 5 years ago, Liu Ruyan still has no sense of boundaries when she's with me. As I fell, heavy-headed and light-footed, onto the soft bed, my mind kept replaying the scenes from tonight's party. I wanted to leave all of this outside my door. I didn't unblock Liu Ruyan, not on the chat app, and not in real life. My encounter with Liu Ruyan was just a coincidence. When morning comes, she will go her own way, and I have to live my own life. We were no longer people of the same world long ago. After a good night's sleep, I changed into some comfortable clothes. I decided to take a walk before going to work, to see my hometown that I've been away from for 5 years. I simply wanted to reminisce, but inevitably, in my memories, my childhood and adolescence were all related to Liu Ruyan. Looking back at the past, the shortest, most innocent, and most beautiful years of my life were all spent with Liu Ruyan. The years flowed by like water. They can only be remembered. They cannot be avoided. I scanned the QR code on a roadside bike and rode along the long tree-lined road to my old school. It was a very large school, a comprehensive foreign language school. It was currently class time for the students. The school grounds were very quiet. The security guard probably thought I was a teacher. He didn't stop me at all. I confidently puffed out my chest and walked in. Many years have passed. The teaching building has been renovated quite a bit. As I looked at the changes around me, I walked straight to the teacher's office. This trip was to visit my teachers. I chatted for a while in the office with my old head teacher. The head teacher curiously asked about Liu Ruyan. How are you and Liu Ruyan doing now? Are you married yet? Not yet. We're not together. Under the head teacher's surprised gaze, I smiled and lowered my eyes. See, if I want to reminisce about the past, I really can't avoid mentioning Liu Ruyan. Although Liu Ruyan and I weren't in the same grade. After saying goodbye to the head teacher, I walked up the stairs step by step, standing on the overpass, looking down at the school grounds. The dismissal bell just rang. Energetic young men and women went out in groups of 3 and 5. The scene below was strangely beautiful and harmonious, as an outsider. My heart couldn't help but be moved. I recorded a short video and sent it to Jiang Ni. I wanted to share the beauty I saw with her. Jiang Ni was probably on a break. She quickly sent a video back. Back at your old school? Her gentle voice came through the phone, traveling from the other side of the world. It was as if she were standing right next to me. At this thought, my heart couldn't help but skip a few beats. I chuckled, my ears turning red. Yeah, I haven't been back in 5 years. Thought I'd take a look around. It's nice. Jiang Ni said, Hey you, what were you like in high school? A bit quiet, not very good at socializing. It's been a while, and it's a very subjective self-assessment, so I said it with some uncertainty. Jiang Ni burst out laughing. Why do I remember the first time I saw you at the competition? You were very eloquent and good at debating. I understood immediately. Jiang Ni was talking about when I was in 11th grade, representing my old school, and went to Jiang Ni's university for a competition. During the competition, I was treated unfairly by the judges, the scene of me standing up for justice. Speaking of which, that was also the first time we met. Of course, it was Jiang Ni who remembered me one-sidedly. I felt a bit embarrassed explaining myself. Isn't that because the judges at your school were being shady? They wanted to give my trophy to someone else. Even a cornered dog will jump over a wall. The person on the other end of the line laughed even more brightly. That's right, not only does it know how to bite people, but it also knows how to get revenge. My face flushed bright red. After Jiang Ni and I first met, our next meeting was when I went to Australia for further studies. The Jiang Ni back then was not as gentle and polite as she is now. Everything was firmly in her grasp. The Jiang Ni of 5 years ago was unrestrained and arrogant, a rebellious young woman. At that time, I was the school's outstanding student representative, and she was the rebellious daughter of the sponsor. Initially, we had many arguments in our academic research. I, as the more professional party, believed that someone like Jiang Ni, an amateur, shouldn't interfere in their affairs. What's more, Jiang Ni was nitpicking back then, completely making trouble out of nothing. But Jiang Ni argued that she was the research institute's biggest sponsor, and didn't even have this small right to speak. Then this sponsorship didn't need to continue. Both of us were very stubborn, unwilling to back down. The staff, trainees, and supervisors in between were all in a difficult position. After persuading one person, they had to go and persuade the other. In the end, it was me who let Jiangni directly participate in the research, so she could experience it for herself and give up. During that time, I deliberately made things difficult for Jiangni. I assigned all the trivial tasks to this young miss. I thought I would make the young miss back down from the difficulty. Who would have thought that the young miss would persevere to the end? And so I completely changed my view of Jiangni. And Jiangni no longer interfered with the research. She was no longer stubborn about her perfectionism. After that, we developed feelings for each other as we spent time together. Then we naturally got together. Jiangni told me that she had actually recognized me at first sight, the boy she had seen back in university. I held her in my arms and asked, "Was it love at first sight? And you've never forgotten me since?" Jiangni didn't say anything. She just looked at me gently and said, "Yes." My train of thought returned to the present. Looking at the beautiful face in the video, I curled my lips. "You really hold a grudge. I'll have to be careful in the future." Jiangni's gaze was as doting as ever. "Okay, Pei-yu, you must never let me off the hook." Coming back from the old school, it was already evening. I pushed open the door. The house was filled with the faint smell of hot food. Freshly cooked dishes were laid out on the dining table in the living room. Mom was in the kitchen. She looked up when she heard the noise. "You're back? Come and taste this to see if Mom's cooking has gotten rusty." I changed into my slippers and walked into the kitchen. "How could it get rusty? Mom's cooking is the best." Mom smiled. "You're the only one with such a sweet mouth." Very quickly, as the bowls and chopsticks were set on the table, Dad also came home. The whole family, who hadn't been reunited for a long time, ate dinner together after resting at home for 2 days. I reported to the National Research Institute. It was also academic research. I got into the swing of things very quickly, and because the Research Institute was short-staffed recently, and the workload was heavy, I had only been working for a week, but I was already asked to handle urgent documents. On a gloomy afternoon, it started to drizzle. Tiny raindrops collected on the glass window, and the face of the city gradually blurred. I handled all of them in one go. The work items marked as urgent in my email. I was so busy I forgot to eat. Just as I took a break, my colleague, Liao Si, walked in with a stack of freshly printed documents. They were still warm as he entered the office. "Pei-yu, there's a meeting at 3 o'clock in the small conference room." "Okay." I took a sip of my cold latte. "What's the meeting about?" "A new investor is here. The higher-ups have assigned our team to be in charge. There's also the report on the results of 2 experiments, and an online meeting with the North American side." After reporting the enormous workload, my colleague timidly asked, "How about we let another team report the experiment results?" "I took on all the work myself." "No need, we've always handled it ourselves before. You can leave the documents here. I also worked at a high intensity over there. This much is nothing." I arrived at the meeting room 5 minutes early. I put on the serious expression I usually use at work. I pushed the door open and walked in. I didn't expect everyone to be earlier than me. The higher-ups, colleagues, sponsors, and even Liu Ruyan, sitting at the long table with a cold aura. Perhaps for a long time to come, I will have to mentally prepare myself every time I open a door. On a drizzly afternoon, she listened to me present the project idea coherently. My deep, warm voice, my neat short hair, and a neatly ironed shirt. The sleeves were rolled low on my arms. The meeting ended in a harmonious atmosphere. The leader shook hands with the partner's representative and glanced at me with a reminder, "Pei-yu." I came back to my senses and saw Liu Ruyan's hand extended in midair. I looked up and met her sly gaze. It felt like I was facing a she-wolf, with a fluffy tail behind her, wagging provocatively. This was a trap, a snare, but my direct supervisor and a group of people were all watching from the side. The knife was already at my throat. I closed my eyes and braced myself. I took Liu Ruyan's hand, happy to cooperate. Liu Ruyan gave a deadly charming smile. I tried not to let my expression look too ugly, happy to cooperate. After the meeting, I still had to see the sponsor downstairs. I returned to my office. Frowning deeply, I opened WeChat and unblocked her. "Liu Ruyan, did you do all this just for me? To unblock you?" I gritted my teeth and typed out 3 question marks. But then I thought that now, questioning her would only make me look foolish. After all, the contract was already signed. So I deleted the words in the chat box and changed it to a formulaic greeting. "Hello, CEO Liu. I am Pei-yu, the person in charge of this project. In the future, if there are any work-related issues, you can contact me at any time." "Okay." The other party replied without any private emotion. I chugged the rest of my cold latte. I tried to suppress the frustration in my heart. I thought that after the project started, I and Liu Ruyan would have some unavoidable exchanges. But Liu Ruyan even had her subordinates handle work communications, let alone other matters. This is good too. This is for the best. As long as I don't have to contact Liu Ruyan, anything is fine. I put a few eye drops into my dry eyes and focused my attention on work, staring at the computer until my eyes blurred. My gaze suddenly shifted and saw a female model standing at the office door. Looking closer, I realized the model was Liu Ruyan. Liu Ruyan raised her hand and knocked on the adjacent wooden door with her knuckles. The workaholic's familiar greeting made me freeze, having let my guard down around her these past few days. "When did you get here?" 10 minutes ago. "I sent you a message, but you didn't reply." "Sorry. I picked up my phone to check, put you on Do Not Disturb, so I didn't see it." A vein on Liu Ruyan's forehead twitched. "It's fine. The corners of her mouth remained curved upwards. "Are you free tonight?" I blurted out. "I'm not. As far as I know, your boss hasn't scheduled any social events for you tonight. Working hours are over. If you want to volunteer for unpaid work, you'd be better off having a nice meal with me." After the other party's fluent, long speech, all my anger deflated. In her eyes, I was like an invisible man. Is this for work or personal? Work. Liu Ruyan blinked happily. "I'm taking you to meet the people from the sponsor's side. It'll be more convenient for work communications later." I couldn't find a reason to refuse. Besides, I was actually a little hungry. Getting into Liu Ruyan's Bentley. To avoid talking, I fastened my seatbelt and closed my eyes to rest. Liu Ruyan saw the fatigue on my face. She turned off the music in the car and deliberately drove a little slower so I could rest for a while. If I had opened my eyes while waiting at a red light, I would have seen the heartache in the woman's eyes, shimmering and moving like moonlight. In the car, I still looked completely drained of energy, but as soon as I arrived at the party, I changed my state. And the person strategizing at the cocktail party is no different from an elite man. I'm not a sociable person, but for the sake of the Research Institute's funding, I did my best to participate in another company's team-building event, clinking glasses with everyone and making pleasant conversation. A team-building event is still much more relaxed than a formal social gathering. After drinking until I was slightly tipsy and exchanging contact information with everyone from the sponsor's side, the event was pretty much over. A group of people walked out of the hotel restaurant, discussing whether to go to a nearby bar for a second round. I had already achieved my goal for the night and had no intention of going with them. Liu Ruyan didn't seem to want to go either. After everyone else had left, Liu Ruyan smiled and asked me, "Want to take a walk by the river?" I put on a cold, guarded expression. "Is this for business or personal reasons?" The woman tossed out a suggestive lure. "Let's say it's half business, half personal." This was the first time I had to deal with a client like this. But Liu Ruyan advanced and retreated with great measure, so I couldn't be direct, and I had no reason to refuse. I could only nod. The two of us walked side by side along the riverbank, still not saying a word. It seemed that Liu Ruyan's overly familiar comment, "workaholic," at my office door, was just my illusion. Liu Ruyan stopped in front of a bridge whose name I didn't know. As soon as she spoke, the wind blew past as if carrying countless sorrows. "Pei-duk, I went to Australia to find you." I was stunned for a moment, then asked back, "So what?" Liu Ruyan pursed her lips and continued, "I saw you kissing another woman. That woman's eyes look a bit like mine, Pei-duk. You still like me, don't you?" I frowned. "I've never thought Jiangni looked like you." "I'm sorry, Xiao Liu. I used the formal title to quickly create distance. Today's business has gone beyond the scope of our contract. I think I should be going now." After saying that, I turned and walked straight back, quickly disappearing from Liu Ruyan's world. A wristwatch fell onto the wooden floor, making a loud clatter. "Sorry, Xiao Liu." The mover hurriedly picked up the item he had accidentally dropped and bowed at a 90-degree angle. "The watch seems to be broken. We will compensate you for the full cost of repairs." Liu Ruyan took the watch back, holding the cracked watch face up to the light to examine it carefully. "I don't blame you. This watch stopped working years ago." After the movers left, she began unpacking the items from the cardboard boxes by herself, making the bed, mopping the floor, and opening the windows for ventilation. The decision to move was made the day she found out I was working at the Research Institute, because the south-facing rooftop of this house has a view of the building where I stay at the Research Institute. Liu Ruyan lay alone on the swing chair, enjoying the breeze, listening to the rustling of the leaves. She recalled the day the watch stopped working. It was the second year after I had left. She had finally gotten news about me. Liu Ruyan immediately decided to book a flight, taking a red-eye flight that lasted nearly a dozen hours to get to Australia. When she found out I had left, Liu Ruyan had asked almost everyone in my circle who was connected to me about my whereabouts. But I didn't tell anyone. My parents, the only ones who knew, didn't even want to see her. Later, it was Liu Ruyan who, after several visits to my supervising professor, accidentally saw the local specialty I had sent on his desk and finally found out. Throughout the entire journey, Liu Ruyan was full of high spirits. She wore the watch I gave her, constantly rehearsing in her head how she would apologize, how she would coax Pei-duk. She thought that this time, she absolutely had to get Pei-duk to make up with her. As soon as she got off the plane, she went straight to the School of Biological Sciences at the University of Queensland. She asked everyone she met, and after a long while, she finally got an answer from someone who told her that Pei-duk had said he had a stomachache and had gone to the infirmary. So Liu Ruyan rushed to the university hospital and finally saw me in a hospital room, getting an IV drip. Seeing my face as pale as a sheet of paper, my brows still furrowed tightly, even in deep sleep, Liu Ruyan felt as if her heart had been put through a washing machine's spin cycle, ringing in pain. Is my friend going to be okay? Chronic gastritis. He usually has irregular meals and likes to drink cold things. His stomach is bound to suffer. After the nurse removed the needle, she carried the small metal tray and left the room. The wind gently swayed the white curtain by the window. Liu Ruyan leaned down, her gentle hand resting on my cheek. My slightly chapped lips moved, murmuring a name in my sleep. Liu Ruyan leaned her ear closer and clearly heard me calling Jiang Ni's name. Not Liu Ruyan, but Jiang Ni. Her mood shifted from lingering affection to confusion, then from burning jealousy to unwillingness to accept it. Liu Ruyan stiffly pulled her hand back and turned to see an Asian girl looking at her warily, asking in English who she was and what are you doing by Pei Duke's bed. Liu Ruyan's heart tightened in pain. She immediately knew that this person was probably the Jiang Ni I had mentioned. She was speechless, unsure how to answer Jiang Ni's question. Who was she? An ex-girlfriend? Or a friend? A childhood sweetheart? While Liu Ruyan was still dazed, Jiang Ni had already walked over, firmly placing herself between me and her. Then she gently tucked me back in. Liu Ruyan silently watched her practiced movements, saying nothing for a long time. Jiang Ni's scrutinizing gaze fell nakedly upon her, still in English. Let's talk outside. Don't disturb Pei Duke's sleep. This time, Liu Ruyan finally spoke. There's no need. She spoke in Chinese. After speaking without caring if Jiang Ni understood, she turned and fled for her life. After Liu Ruyan ran all the way back to her hotel, she sat alone in her room all night. No matter what, she still wanted to explain things to Pei Duke. She still wanted to win Pei Duke back. So the next day, she went to the university infirmary again, but Pei Duke was no longer in the infirmary. The nurse informed her that Pei Duke had been discharged the previous evening. After leaving the infirmary, Liu Ruyan didn't go asking other people. Instead, she just wandered aimlessly around the vast campus of the University of Queensland, looking for him. She looked at the place where I had lived for 2 years, imagining what my life had been like here. Was I happy and energetic, or was I quiet and reserved? Or perhaps he was sad and homesick. As she thought about this, Liu Ruyan walked a full circle around the University of Queensland. As dusk fell, she finally found herself beside an unnamed lake where she saw me with Jiang Ni. The girl stood on her tiptoes and kissed the lips of the boy she deeply loved. The scene was indescribably beautiful. Liu Ruyan clenched her fists, but in the end, she couldn't bring herself to step forward and interrupt. The moment she turned to leave, she was hit by a bicycle coming from the opposite direction. That was when the watch was damaged. It was just a superficial wound, but it hurt so much that she cried. The person who hit her was a young Chinese man who awkwardly kept apologizing in English. Liu Ruyan lowered her head, the sunset illuminating the sorrow that filled her face. She needed to vent the pain in her heart, and without caring who the person in front of her was or whether they could understand. I thought he would never leave me. I thought that no matter what happened, we would always be together. I was wrong. I really know I was wrong. I'm sorry. Can you please not leave me? Love is like a door. Liu Ruyan thought he had only closed it temporarily, but when she came back later to open it, she discovered that the door was now locked to her. This time, after coming here, hearing Pei Duke call another's name in his dream, she suddenly realized she was no longer the closest person by his side. To him, she was probably just an empty shell in his memory. Ignoring the young man's stunned and surprised gaze, Liu Ruyan rubbed her eyes, stood up, brushed the grass off herself, and walked forward. Pei Duke had his own life now. Perhaps she shouldn't stay here any longer. After returning from Queensland, Liu Ruyan seemed to have become a different person. She transformed into a workaholic, throwing herself wholeheartedly into her work. Because if she ever stopped, she would think of Pei Duke and think of Jiang Ni. That was too painful. She was like a spinning top, transforming into a role model among the wealthy elite. Just when she thought she could also start a new life, Pei Duke reappeared. Without any warning, he suddenly appeared before her, within her reach. So she actually did it. She really reached for him. All her psychological barriers collapsed in an instant. She still couldn't lie to herself. She still liked Pei Duke and wanted to be with him. One last time, Liu Ruyan told herself. One last time. She would give her all to win him back, even if he avoided her like the plague. Even if he said hurtful things, it was okay. She deserved it. She would endure it. As long as she could get Pei Duke's forgiveness, none of this mattered. Therefore, Liu Ruyan chose to directly invest in the research institute where I worked, specifically requesting Pei Duke's team to handle the project. Afraid that I would detest her, she held back for a long time before finding a reasonable excuse to approach me. This time when I returned, there was no one else by my side. This was her last chance. The first night in her new home, she slept quite well. In the morning, she woke up 2 minutes before her alarm. Liu Ruyan quickly washed her face, changed into sportswear, and went out. The mild temperature was perfect for a morning run. Her smart bracelet was set to a certain pace, and her earphones were playing a playlist I had posted on a music app. It might sound like she has a stalking problem, but she often used a side account to follow, my social media accounts. She ran 2 laps around the nearby neighborhood until she broke a light sweat. She randomly found a steaming roadside breakfast stall. Boss 1 serving of xiaolongbao. And also, Liu Ruyan tried to decipher the sloppily handwritten menu on the wall, choosing from the specialty column. Add a bowl of ground tea paste. For here. The owner could tell from her accent that she wasn't a local and enthusiastically made recommendations. The sugar donuts and crispy fried rings are freshly made. Want to try some? They're very crispy. Liu Ruyan took his advice. Okay, I'll have one of each. She scanned the QR code to pay and went inside to find a seat. A table full of food was ordered, and as she tasted each of the stall's signature breakfast items, she found that she still wasn't used to the local flavors. She missed the food cooked by the maid at home. She continued to eat, following the principle of not wasting food. Liu Ruyan was wondering if she should go home for lunch when she heard a familiar, clear voice. 2 vegetable buns, 1 soy milk to go. Her gaze immediately shifted, and through the white steam rising from the steamer baskets, she saw the hazy face of Pei-Duke. He didn't see her. He just took his breakfast and left. By the time Liu Ruyan quickly finished the last sip of her ground tea paste and chased after him, all she saw was Pei-Duke's back as he drove away. He had integrated very well into his current life. In summer, the 8 a.m. sun was already starting to get dazzling. Liu Ruyan returned to her villa to shower, got herself looking beautiful, and went to work. She was now in full control of her family's company, becoming the most influential person in the company. At noon, she had lunch with a few senior colleagues and gathered some industry news. In the afternoon, she had to go to the research institute for a meeting, the very same one where I worked. The two sides were collaborating on a major research project that would last at least 2 years. As the ultimate client, Liu Ruyan had the right to come to the company at any time to monitor the project's progress. Every Wednesday, she also had to attend a regular meeting with my team. The leather sofa in the small meeting room was very comfortable. Sipping on her coffee with extra sugar and milk, she listened to the other party's report with great satisfaction. Liu Ruyan would occasionally toss out a question. Liu Ruyan stared at me as I gave a detailed report, her gaze brushing like a feather over my moving lips. In general, of the two design proposals we've drafted this time, A focuses more on the return on investment, while B concedes some profit to focus on building reputation. Xiao Liu, what are your thoughts? Both proposals are not bad. Liu Ruyan folded the copy in her hand. I'll take both plans back for the management team to decide. My voice was a flat line. Okay? Just let me know if there are any issues. My colleagues went out to work first. In the space with only the two of us left, I lowered my head to organize my documents. While Liu Ruyan sat opposite me, staring intently, I frowned in annoyance. Is there anything else, Xiao Liu? If not, I need to get back to work. Liu Ruyan laughed, her red lips parting slightly. Does asking you to have a meal with me count as business? I pretended not to hear and walked out with my documents. The moment I stepped out of the meeting room, I bolted towards my office. Helplessly, Liu Ruyan was also someone who wouldn't give up. She rushed after me, taking 2 steps at a time, and blocked the door with her hand before I could close it. With a slight tilt of her body, she slipped inside. Is there anything else you need? I acted extremely distant. Liu Ruyan smiled. Nothing, just came to sit in your place for a bit. She nonchalantly sat down in front of my desk. Treating her like thin air, I put down the documents and got on with my work. The clicking of the mouse reluctantly helped me maintain my focus. Out of the corner of my eye, I noticed the figure, lurking behind the computer. What do you think? Liu Ruyan placed, her arm on the edge of the desk, one hand propping up her chin. Which plan will those old-timers choose? She was talking about work, so my thoughts naturally began to analyze along with her words. Based on past experience with those old-timers, they place a lot of importance on market reaction. They'll probably choose B. After I said that, I saw her smile brighten a few shades. I had a bad feeling. I think they'll choose plan A. Liu Ruyan challenged confidently. Wanna bet? I was also very confident in my judgment. Besides, I really wanted to deflate this woman's arrogance. Bet what? I asked, tilting my chin up. Liu Ruyan narrowed her eyes. Well, her tone dragged slightly. If you lose, you just have to have a meal with me. If I lose, they'll grant you one wish, as long as it's within my power. It sounded like a lame game of truth or dare. I scoffed dismissively, then agreed, no problem. After saying her piece, Liu Ruyan left. But she hadn't been gone for long when I heard someone outside calling for me. Pei-Duke, come get your afternoon tea. Here you are, Pei-Duke. Xiao Liu is treating everyone to coffee today. This cup was ordered specially for you. I pursed my lips. I really couldn't bring myself to be happy. The problem was, our leadership saw Liu Ruyan as a blue-chip stock, had reached a long-term, in-depth cooperation agreement with the Liu family, and even specially reserved an office in the research institute for Liu Ruyan's team. In reality, her people didn't come often. After all, they had their own office building here. Liu Ruyan was also a very busy person, occasionally making a fleeting appearance in my department, treating everyone to afternoon tea or coming for a work meeting. Every Wednesday afternoon, everyone was particularly excited and full of energy. One by one, their spirits were as high as fresh college graduates. The girls in the team would wear full makeup on that day and wear business dresses. The gentlemen would abandon their procrastinating habits and send their report documents to my email very early. Even the messiest programmer would clean up their workspace. Once, our leader pretended to be angry, hands on hips. Hey, do you all have to be like this? Isn't it just CEO Liu coming over? You should all learn from Pei-Duke. He treats everyone the same. Nothing special. That's different. Pei-Duke is so handsome, he'll attract more outstanding people. Of course, he doesn't need to cling to CEO Liu. But for the rest of us at the Research Institute, the most outstanding person we can meet is CEO Liu. How can we not seize the opportunity? Pei-Duke, you're not allowed to compete with us. At that moment, I was walking past with a cup of coffee, and when I heard him say that, I smiled silently. I don't know what kind of person Liu Ruyan is now, but the Liu Ruyan from the past was not a good person worth loving. But I could also understand the thoughts of these guys, because I used to be just like them. In The Little Prince, it says, if you tell me you are coming at 4 in the afternoon, then at 3 o'clock, I shall begin to be happy. I have to admit, Liu Ruyan really has a charm that makes people submit. whether in the past or now, even though I no longer care. Another evening spent busily in the dark. Reporting the experiment results was still interfered with by someone from another team, causing errors, and they then blamed my subordinate. Because of this, I ran around all day. After resolving it, I slumped exhaustedly over my desk to rest. There was a light knock on my office door. Hearing the sound, I sat up straight. In my line of sight, Liu Ruyan was walking towards me, her expression as gentle as it was 5 years ago. I couldn't help but feel a little flustered. Looking at you like this, you must have been too busy to even eat, right? Liu Ruyan brought a thermal lunchbox over to me. I heard from your colleagues that the team leader next door was deliberately giving you a hard time. I thought to myself that these people were really gossipy and said in an indifferent tone, "It was nothing. It's been resolved." Then I glanced at the time in the bottom right corner of the computer screen. 8 p.m. I said, "Why are you here at this hour? Isn't it to bring you dinner? It seems I'm a little late." Liu Ruyan carefully opened the lid of the thermal lunchbox, and I felt the steam blur my vision. "Don't tell me this 3-course meal with soup was all cooked by your family's maid." Liu Ruyan curled her lips and made an inviting gesture. "Have a taste." I couldn't refuse. The aroma was the home-cooked meal I had missed for so long, plus I was unbearably hungry now. I lowered my head and took 2 bites of rice, my eyes stinging. I don't know where Liu Ruyan's family maid learned to cook. She could always. The taste of the food reminded me of the past. "You really didn't have to make a trip here just to bring me dinner," Liu Ruyan replied casually. "You have a stomach problem and you still don't eat on time. If you collapse, what will happen to my project? We're in the same boat now." Another reason I couldn't refuse. I didn't reply. Liu Ruyan looked at me gently. "I have to go to London on a business trip for a week tomorrow. You have to eat on time, drink fewer cold things, and take good care of yourself." I wanted to talk back to her, to tell her not to speak to me in the tone of my parents, but since I was eating her food, I held my tongue. I silently swallowed the words I wanted to say. After watching me finish eating, Liu Ruyan packed up the lunchbox and said naturally, "I'm leaving. You should finish up soon and go home too." It was so natural, as if Liu Ruyan was supposed to talk to me like that. Time is truly something that cannot be described, yet it is incredibly fair and just. My relationship with Liu Ruyan from over 10-20 years ago had long made us accustomed to each other's existence and care. Even though we hadn't been in contact for 5 years, when we met again, Liu Ruyan reverted to her previous behavior. I could only passively accept it. Watching Liu Ruyan's departing back, I sat stunned behind my desk. This absolutely cannot go on. Although I am very sure of my feelings, getting used to Liu Ruyan again is no different from falling into an abyss once more. Luckily, Zhang Ni will be back in a week. A week later, I was still too busy to get away. I kept apologizing to Zhang Ni, saying that I couldn't pick her up. Zhang Ni laughed and said it was okay. I knew Zhang Ni wasn't comfortable staying in hotels, so I sent her the address and password to the apartment provided by the research institute, telling her to go there and get some good sleep. After giving all the instructions, I threw myself back into work. Busy like that, it was 7 p.m. in the blink of an eye. I dragged my tired body home and opened the door with my fingerprint. Pushing the door open, the smell of hot food wafted out from inside. On the dining table in the living room were various takeout dishes. Zhang Ni was in the semi-open kitchen behind it. Hearing the noise, she looked up. "You're back just in time. The noodles have just softened." My heart melted. After being apart for a month, there were no polite inquiries upon meeting again, no intentionally dramatic scenes. It was very normal. Just one sentence made my eyes well up. This tone of Zhang Ni's, this expression, made me dazed for a moment. It was as if we had never been apart. Even on the balcony hung clothes Zhang Ni had changed out of after her shower. I walked over and hugged Zhang Ni from behind. "What's wrong?" I rested my chin on her head and said in a gloomy voice, "I missed you." She comforted me gently. "Sorry, I'm late." After a moment of affection, Zhang Ni told me to go sit in the living room. A moment later, a bowl of noodles was placed in front of me. In the clear broth were a few green vegetable leaves and a fried egg. I knew this was the extent of Zhang Ni's cooking skills. I hadn't eaten much for lunch, so looking at this incredibly simple bowl of noodles now, I felt ravenous. I stirred the noodles with my chopsticks, slurped down 2 mouthfuls, then looked at Zhang Ni, who was staring at me from the side. "Aren't you going to sleep?" After a flight of over 10 hours. Zhang Ni said a short nap was enough. I was really too hungry, focused only on eating, with no energy left to talk to Zhang Ni. I barely touched the food on the table, but I finished the entire bowl of noodles. After eating, I quickly felt sleepy. I hadn't been sleeping well these past few days. "I'll take a nap. I'm so sleepy." "Okay." Zhang Ni thoughtfully helped me get a pillow and a thin blanket from the bedroom. She lovingly touched my forehead. "Get some rest." Lying down on the sofa, I smelled the warm scent of sunshine on the pillow. Zhang Ni is a young lady from a wealthy family, pampered since she was little. But after getting together with me, she took the initiative to take care of my daily life. Today, she had flown for over 10 hours and cooked noodles for me as soon as she got back, taking care of me. I felt a little guilty. I lay on my stomach, listening to the sound of dishes being washed in the kitchen. My consciousness was like coffee slowly being filled with milk, growing thicker and thicker. When Zhang Ni was almost done cleaning up, I said softly, "Thank you." Zhang Ni chuckled and said helplessly, "You're still saying thank you to me?" Amidst Jiangni's soft laughter, I closed my eyes and drifted off to sleep. Elsewhere, after a week-long business trip in London, Liu Ruyan quickly finalized the proposal with the investors and returned home. Liu Ruyan remembered I once shared on social media about a limited edition guitar I had always longed for. This time in England, she specifically sought it out and bought it for me. Before she could even adjust to the time difference, she slept for 3 hours after getting home and brought the guitar to Pei Yu's house early the next morning, looking forward to seeing Pei Yu's happy face when he opened the gift. She rang the doorbell. The bright smile on her face vanished after the door opened. The person who opened the door was Jiang Ni, wrapped in a bath towel. The other person looked Liu Ruyan up and down. "And you are?" Liu Ruyan was taken aback by the question, stunned by Jiang Ni's sudden query. Perhaps because it was Jiang Ni asking, under Jiang Ni's scrutinizing gaze. Just like 3 years ago, Liu Ruyan suppressed the intense unwillingness in her heart and seriously thought about what she was to Pei Yu. His former best friend, ex-girlfriend, childhood sweetheart, or work partner. "I'm a friend of Pei Yu's. Is he home?" From a series of ambiguous terms, she chose the simplest one to define her and my current relationship. The other person still blocked the doorway with no intention of letting her in. Pei Yu went out. "He's not here right now. Can I come in and wait for him?" Liu Ruyan gave a ladylike smile, the subtle hostility suppressed in her eyes, not showing on her face. Jiang Ni hesitated for a moment, but finally let Liu Ruyan in. Not only that, Jiang Ni watched Liu Ruyan change into guest slippers at the entrance and then generously brought her a glass of water from the kitchen. Liu Ruyan smiled and said thank you, carrying the guitar case and sitting down in the living room. She briefly glanced around Pei Yu's apartment, clean, minimalist, and orderly. It looked very much like a single person's living space, but it could also be that Jiang Ni had just arrived and her luggage wasn't yet unpacked. Liu Ruyan didn't consider this aspect and felt secretly pleased. At the same time, she shifted her gaze to Jiang Ni, who was drying her hair with a towel nearby. "When did you get back?" Jiang Ni glanced at her. "You know me?" "Of course," Liu Ruyan answered in her mind. "Not only do I know you, but I also saw you and Pei Yu kissing with my own eyes. You'll never forget that scene for the rest of my life." But Liu Ruyan lowered her voice and answered vaguely, I heard about you from Pei Yu." This answer was very interesting. It was as if he was really just my friend. As expected, Jiang Ni let down half her guard. The other half remained up because her intuition told her something was off about this person. Just then, the electronic lock beeped twice, and the door was pushed open from the outside. I walked in, carrying the breakfast I had just bought. First, I was surprised to see the woman on my sofa so early in the morning. Then I turned to look at Jiang Ni, who was drying her hair nearby. After a moment, the three of us were lost in our own thoughts. I stood up and introduced to Liu Ruyan first. "My girlfriend Jiang Ni." I pointed at Jiang Ni. "She was in Australia before. She just came back recently." Liu Ruyan was already mentally prepared, her face still maintaining a gentle expression. Jiang Ni walked over and kissed my cheek. She said softly, "You two talk. I'm going inside to change." "Okay." With just the two of us left, the atmosphere became a bit more relaxed. I sat down next to Liu Ruyan, keeping a distance of half a meter. "Have you had breakfast?" "Not yet. Let's eat together." "Good. I bought a little too much." Liu Ruyan looked at the transparent bag. Inside were sweet fried cakes and fried dough rings. Jiang Ni, having just changed, walked into her line of sight. "No thanks." She smiled at me. "I'm not used to eating this kind of food." I didn't show any intention of making her stay either. I just hummed softly. Then I started opening the plastic bags myself. Before the atmosphere could become heavy again, Liu Ruyan stood up and placed the guitar case next to me. "A gift for you." I refused immediately. "Thank you." "But I can't accept gifts," Liu Ruyan said as she walked to the entrance. "Then just throw it away." The door opened and then closed softly. Even softer than those sounds was Liu Ruyan's voice just now. I could still feel her sadness. I saw the guitar in the case, the one I had longed for so long, a limited edition. I was silent for a long time. I still have to return it. Jiang Ni walked over, picked up a fried dough ring, and took a bite. "Do you like this guitar?" I pursed my lips. "I liked it a long time ago. Not now. A very, very long time ago. So long that I've almost forgotten." Jiang Ni didn't say anything. Instead, I spoke first. "Why don't you ask me who she is? She said she's your friend." She repeated Liu Ruyan's answer verbatim. I lowered my eyes and said honestly, "She's my ex-girlfriend. Also the childhood sweetheart who took care of me since we were little." Seeing Pei Yu like this, Jiang Ni seemed to see again the me from 5 years ago when I first arrived in Australia. A serious scientist by day and a wild lead singer in a bar by night. Two extremes. It was something Jiang Ni discovered by chance. Thinking back, Pei Yu being like that then was probably because of Liu Ruyan. That Chinese bar in Australia was located in an alley. The alley was very narrow. You had to park outside and only people could walk through. The base of the red brick walls was covered in damp moss. Fashionably dressed young people strolled through the alley in groups of 2 or 3. Passing through the noise and cigarette smoke, Jiang Ni finally managed to reach the performance area. She went to the bar and bought a non-alcoholic drink. Since entering this bar, 5 or 6 groups of people had already tried to hit on her. Jiang Ni tried to put on a cold expression, to look unapproachable, but she found that it only made the gazes around her even more intense. The band walked onto the stage. Along with a drum solo, the show began. The enthusiastic audience raised their hands and cheered. Crimson and deep blue lights turned the place into a musical experiment with explosive chemical reactions. The stage was very small, even a bit dirty. It was far worse than the stage for a high school campus singer competition. The audience in the front row was packed together. It's no exaggeration that a few people were about to be pushed onto the stage. Jiang Ni didn't squeeze into the front row. Holding her drink, she stood in the staircase area at the back, intently watching the stage 15 paces away. The lead singer's voice was like a ray of afternoon sun, a cool breeze, gently and warmly filling both ears. Jiang Ni stared at me on stage, a smile unconsciously forming on her lips. This was the first time she had seen Pei Yu under the stage lights. Those lights were far from comparable to the aura he emanated. A stage this small was unworthy of Pei Yu's talent. When the climactic chorus came, Jiang Ni quietly sang along. Like the other audience members, she was lost in the music. This was a different Pei Yu, a Pei Yu that only she knew. This performance unexpectedly received a great response. The performance ended. The whole audience shouted the name of the band, Spotlight. The other members on stage were taking pictures with fans, but I had quietly slipped backstage. I don't want to show off. I'm hiding my identity. Thinking that, Jiang Ni followed me behind the black curtain. The moment I saw Jiang Ni, my eyes were full of astonishment and a bit of panic. Jiang Ni spoke first. I followed you here. Don't worry. I just wanted to see what you've been up to lately. I don't mean anything else. I won't tell anyone about this either. Perhaps because she was very sincere, I let down my guard, but I still didn't talk to her. We were at a standstill for a long time. Outside, the voices of the other band members called for me. Jiang Ni followed me closely as I went over. When passing the stairs, the band's drummer blocked Jiang Ni. That person didn't hide the contempt in her eyes. As she passed by, whether intentionally or not, she bumped hard into her shoulder. Jiang Ni didn't bother with her and continued to follow me. I could feel the gaze from behind, was also looking at me. Do you like Pei Yu? The words suddenly reached her ears. Jiang Ni turned and looked at the drummer. She didn't say anything either, just calmly glared at her. This action undoubtedly angered the drummer. She sneered, and while chewing gum, she said disrespectfully, I'm asking you, do you like him, or do you want to sleep with him? After restraining herself again and again, Jiang Ni managed not to slap her across the face. Jiang Ni said with a half smile, What, do you like him? Afraid you can compete with me? It seemed from that moment, the trumpet for a silent war had sounded. Later, they went out to the dance floor to hang out. The two sides secretly competed with each other. Jiang Ni got me half a watermelon. The drummer across from us immediately brought over a fruit platter. While she went to the bar to get a glass of juice, she came back to see her taking the opportunity to hug Pei Yu. In the dim light, that woman intimately wrapped her arms around Pei Yu's waist, leaning her face close to his ear to whisper. After saying a few words, Pei Yu was made to laugh. His head tilted onto her shoulder, laughing until his eyes curved into crescents. This woman really knew how to provoke people. Jiang Ni took a large gulp of orange juice, feeling that even the juice tasted sour. The people in the booth were still playing rock, paper, scissors, playing very excitedly. Seeing I wasn't joining this round, and the drummer had gone to the restroom, Jiang Ni quickly came over and whispered to me, Don't you think it's a bit boring here? It is a bit boring. Then let's run away. Huh? By the time I came to my senses, I was already holding Jiang Ni's hand, running out of the bar. With the convertible top down, we sped onto the wide suburban road to feel the wind. The slightly humid summer night air messed up our hair. The brightly lit, bustling city was left behind us. The phone connected to the car's Bluetooth, playing our favorite song. We turned the volume to the max. I cupped my hands around my mouth and, like a child, excitedly looked up at the sky and shouted. Jiang Ni watched the road and smiled at me, finding that crazed look of mine particularly endearing. The car stopped on top of a low mountain. You could see the stars just by looking up. Feel better? Jiang Ni asked me, and I nodded. Much better. 20 minutes ago, we were still in a noisy bar, playing silly games with strangers. Now, under a sky full of stars, we were feeling our racing heartbeats and boiling blood. I rubbed my tired, strained eyes. Why don't you ask me why at night I come to a complicated place like this to sing? Jiang Ni's pleasant voice entered my ears with the cool breeze. I'm not asking, I want to hear you say it yourself. The night wind blew gently. My heart was in turmoil. I lowered my head in a bit of a panic. A lot of pressure. Too many trivial things are weighing on me. I thought singing could relieve some of it. The wind rustling the leaves and the chirping of insects played in concert. In the comfort, the distance between our shoulders gradually narrowed. Finally, our heads gently leaned against each other. With just a slight tilt, our lips would form an ambiguous angle. But Jiang Ni just avoided my gaze, saying in a husky voice, It's late, let's head back. Next time you want to sing, call me to go with you. After that, Jiang Ni indeed went with me every time. And later, we got together. All my troubles were shared by Jiang Ni. I didn't go there anymore. The memory ends here. Jiang Ni gently stroked my cheek. I understand now. I took Jiang Ni's hand and held it tight. Me going to the bar to sing back then was also related to her. I slowly recounted the story of how I met and knew Liu Ruyan since we were children. I told Jiang Ni how I had fallen for her little by little, and how Liu Ruyan, in the year I loved her the most, cut off all contact with me, and how when I looked for her, she was cheating on me with someone else. I dissected the deepest feelings in my heart for Jongni to see, not to gain anything, but simply to let Jongni know that she is good enough to me, and I cannot let her down. After listening, Jongni was silent for a long time. Finally, she hugged me tightly. Silly. It wasn't clear if Jongni was scolding me or this relationship. I didn't want to ask at this moment, just buried my face deeper. Originally, I didn't want to give my heart away again. The pain of giving my all only to receive emptiness in return is something I only needed to experience once in this lifetime. But Jongni is truly too good. Every step she took towards me was unwavering. Her favoritism towards me was obvious. Besides, I hadn't lost the ability to love someone. I couldn't help but fall deeply for her. Fortunately, this time, Jongni won't let me feel heartbroken. That night, the phone notification sound suddenly went off. I opened it to see. It was a message from Liu Ruyan. There was also a long series of text screenshots. Looks like our bet has a result. I looked at the proposal chosen with the high vote count in the picture and fell into thought. I didn't expect my judgment to be wrong. The next day, I stepped out of the elevator and immediately ran into the receptionist. Seeing her walking out of my office with a cheerful face, I knew Liu Ruyan had arrived. Pei Yu, CO Liu is treating. Come have a piece of cake. No thanks, you guys go ahead. I refused my colleague's kind offer, looking at the pile of sweets and milk tea on the table. It felt like a weasel paying a New Year's visit to a chicken. I went straight to my office and closed the door behind me. That woman was occupying my seat, using my computer to play Minesweeper. Where have you been? I've been waiting for you for a long time. The way we interacted was still the same as before. Did you recommend the proposal to the board's investors? I got straight to the point. How could I? Her tone and expression were both harmless. Wouldn't that be cheating? I now genuinely thought Liu Ruyan had cheated to win the bet. But with no proof, I had to concede defeat reluctantly, retracting my tough stance. You won. Go ahead. When are we having the meal? Liu Ruyan closed the Minesweeper interface, spun the office chair to face me and said, Now. Now? I looked at her in surprise. It's just past 9 a.m., an awkward time, but Liu Ruyan was resolute and nodded. Right now. Come with me. I've already asked for your leave from the management. I was forced to follow Liu Ruyan to a tea house. Going for tea early in the morning was really something else. I looked at Liu Ruyan sitting across from me with a bit of a headache. If you have something to say, just say it. As expected, we know each other too well. Nothing can be hidden. Liu Ruyan lifted her teacup and took a sip. Do you love her? I do. I answered without hesitation. My answer wasn't what provoked her the most. What provoked her most was my certainty. Liu Ruyan took another sip of tea, swallowing the bitter taste. Is there really no chance for us anymore? I nodded. That's right, I like her very much. I've never thought about breaking up with her. If nothing unexpected happens, once my work schedule frees up, I'll take her home to meet my parents. Liu Ruyan's heart felt like it was being squeezed by a large hand, making it almost impossible for her to breathe. If I hadn't gotten involved with Xia Yu, would you still love me? I hesitated. I don't know. The steam rising from the teacup blurred my vision. I tried blinking twice, and my slightly blurry vision refocused. I could clearly see the sadness flowing like water on Liu Ruyan's face. My heart also felt a little sad. Liu Ruyan was wrong, so we ended up like this. But if she hadn't done anything wrong, could we have been together forever? I don't know. I really don't know, and I certainly can't guarantee it. Maybe time really is a magical thing. For a moment, I couldn't tell if I originally didn't, as I thought, like Liu Ruyan that much, or if time had faded my feelings for Liu Ruyan. That's why I couldn't give an answer, but it doesn't matter anymore. Liu Ruyan, just move forward. From now on, treat your partner with sincerity and hold hands as you walk forward together. After finishing the tea, Liu Ruyan disappeared from my world. It's just that this time, I won't feel upset, let alone go looking for her. The next day, Saturday, was a beautiful, sunny day. I had finished the urgent documents from the day before and thought I should have a proper date with Jongni, but unfortunately, I came down with a fever that night. When I woke up in the morning, there was a light blue, fever-reducing patch on my forehead. Like a child, I peeked my head out from behind the kitchen door. What are you doing? Jongni held up an autumn moon pear in her hand. Steaming pears with rock sugar for me? Do you even know how? As soon as I asked, Jongni ushered me out of the kitchen and placed a plate of pre-cut pears on the living room table. After smoothly finishing these tasks, Jongni went into the kitchen to start washing vegetables and cooking. I sat cross-legged on the sofa, speared a piece of pear, and commented leisurely while eating. The sun must have risen in the west. You're actually cooking. Jongni's gentle voice came from the kitchen. If I don't know, I can learn. I wrapped the thin summer blanket around me tightly, ate a few pieces of sweet, cool pear, and my inflamed throat felt a little better. In the semi-open kitchen, the woman's focused silhouette was a beautiful sight. I couldn't help but look again and again. After being together for a long time, Jongni's strong inner self and proactive spirit with high execution ability are absolutely lethal to me. If we can make it to the end in the future, the partner who accompanies her to the end will surely be very happy. I've always been prone to overthinking, and this sudden thought made my heart ache. I walked to the kitchen and gently hugged Jongni from behind, then said very softly, "Don't leave me in the future, okay?" I knew I was overthinking, even being unreasonably provocative, but the thought had already appeared, and I couldn't control myself anymore. The woman didn't hear clearly and turned her head, her tone gentle. I just finished stir-frying one dish. Can you wait? It's okay. I just came to see what's for lunch. I let go of her, putting on an interested expression. When did you learn all this? Jiang Ni gave a wry smile. I saw online that you can't taste things when you have a cold, so I'm using you as a taste tester. With that, Jiang Ni hugged me and very naturally gave me a kiss. Go wait in the living room. It's messy in here. An uncontrollable flutter in my heart. It's like I'm dreaming, a beautiful dream I don't want to wake up from. Please let me stay in this dream a little longer. Just a little longer, I desperately prayed to the gods in my heart. As soon as the weekend was over, my cold had completely cleared up. The overall plan for the project was decided, and what followed was just a matter of time. Although celebrating too early is not advisable, this milestone victory was worth celebrating. The Liu family's upper management organized an event for the colleagues, a team-building trip to a lakeside resort over the weekend. They told me to bring my team members and their families. The team-building format was very flexible. Apart from the group BBQ by the lake at noon, the rest of the time was free for everyone. Everyone did their own thing. When Jiang Ni and I arrived hand in hand, we immediately attracted a lot of attention. I told you, why don't you pay attention to anyone? Turns out you were hiding a better one at home. Hiding her for so long, why are you willing to bring her out now? I blushed from the teasing. Jiang Ni squeezed my hand. It's my fault. I haven't been back in the country for long. I'll treat everyone to a meal another day. Amidst the cheers, I was dragged away by my male colleagues to play mahjong. After a few boring rounds, I found a friend next to me to take my place and I went out for a walk. I don't know where that group of people dragged Jiang Ni off to. The lake water exuded a cool, fresh scent. A gentle breeze blew by, and the mirror-like surface of the lake rippled with waves. The lush lawn felt like velvet, making one want to use their palm to feel the tickle of the grass against their skin. And I really did just that. My body relaxed as it came into contact with nature. Is the grass here beautiful? Or is the grass in Australia more beautiful? A familiar voice. I smiled without turning my head. Of course, in Australia. Jiang Ni lovingly pulled me up. Do you want to go to the hot springs? I heard the hot springs at this resort are not bad. I don't like public hot springs. I'm still a bit of a pampered young master. Then let's go back to the hotel and bathe privately. Jiang Ni said with a laugh. We haven't even had dinner yet. Okay, then let's bathe after dinner. Jiang Ni deliberately misinterpreted my words. My ears turned red and I looked away, pretending to be angry. Even though Jiang Ni knew I was pretending to be mad, she still coaxed me appeasingly. The atmosphere between us was so good that no third person could intrude. Outside the small alley, Liu Ruyan hid behind a stone wall, watching from the side. Her expression was emotionless, but upon closer inspection you could see a few traces of sadness. But more than that was joy and blessings. She was very happy that Pei Yu had found someone who loved him with all her heart. She also sincerely hoped that Pei Yu could always smile so happily. Pei Yu, just keep moving forward, don't look back. Let's both not look back anymore. The sun at 6 a.m. is a blazing red glass marble. My biological clock went off before my phone alarm. I woke up in the hotel bed, turned over gently and looked with half-closed eyes at the woman sleeping next to me, visually understanding what it means to be awakened by beauty. Last night, we fooled around until midnight. I should have been too tired to get up this morning, but I felt unusually energetic. I propped my chin on one hand and watched Jiang Ni sleep, listening to her steady breathing, watching her long eyelashes, disheveled in her sleep. Happiness filled my chest. My gaze swept over the woman's lips, and feeling an itch in my heart, I quietly leaned over and stole a kiss in the gentle dawn light. Just as I was about to pull away, Jiang Ni hugged me tightly. Her eyes were still closed, and she whispered in a hoarse voice, "What time is it?" "It's still early." I stroked her long hair. "Sleep a little longer." Wake me up at 7:30. I have a meeting in the morning." Jiang Ni drowsily kissed my forehead. Her breathing became steady and long again. I obediently held her in my arms, feeling an indescribable sweetness. I fell back into a sweet sleep. After this, everyone at the research institute knew I had a girlfriend, so I didn't hide it anymore. Jiang Ni's work had completely transferred back here, so basically, we wouldn't be apart anymore. Jiang Ni and I returned to the honeymoon phase again. No, it was even more than that. On weekends, I'd drag Jiang Ni to buy food and pick up packages. We shined in our own positions at work, and after work, we were stuck together every minute of every second. We had to report all daily matters, big and small. When on business trips, we'd video call all night. I started singing and composing again, but no longer to drown my sorrows, but as my hobby. When I composed a melody I liked, I would be the first to share it with Jiang Ni, writing words of love into the lyrics. Jiang Ni remembered things I mentioned casually and would pull all sorts of strings to get them, then nonchalantly place them in my hand. Sometimes I missed Jiang Ni so much that even though the lunch break was only 2 hours long and the round trip took an hour, I wouldn't hesitate to drive to see Jiang Ni. In the small room inside the CEO's office, a pair of silhouettes intertwined in a kiss. After nearly 10 minutes of lingering, Jiang Ni was the first to pull away. She pecked Pei Yu's lips as she spoke. "If we kiss any longer, we won't be able to eat." I haven't kissed enough. I lightly bit a mark on Jiang Ni's shoulder and reluctantly put her down. I pulled over the movable table, opened the lid of the lunchbox, which was covered in condensation, and picked up my chopsticks to fill my stomach. It was summer, but the business set meal came with hot soup. I touched the side of the pumpkin soup bowl. It was too hot. The woman silently picked up the bowl, the pumpkin soup she had just pushed aside, scooped a spoonful and blew on it. Here, it's not hot anymore. The spoon was brought to my lips. The sweet soup slid down my throat. I stared blankly as Jung-ni patiently blew on each spoonful of soup to cool it and let out a meaningful sigh. Jung-ni, you've changed. Wow, that's rare. Jung-ni smirked, not understanding. How have I changed? If you don't explain, you're not leaving. My earlobes turned pink. That's not what I meant. With that, I swallowed. You never used to take care of me so meticulously before. Putting down the soup spoon, Jung-ni reached out and pinched my cheek. I told you, you're heartless. I just didn't know how to cook before. When you were bullied, wasn't I always the one to step up for you? Hearing her mention it, it seemed that was indeed the case. Jung-ni isn't good with words, she just knows how to work hard. If I weren't an observant person, I wouldn't have noticed a lot of things. Luckily, the current Jung-ni can both talk the talk and walk the walk. So when did she change? Curiosity lingered on my lips, and finally, along with the future pumpkin soup, I swallowed it all down. After eating, Jung-ni had an urgent document to handle and told me to take a nap first. I lay across the sofa bed, my head resting on Jung-ni's lap. I lifted my head slightly so as not to put all my weight on her thighs. In my line of sight was the woman's full chin and her alluring, plump red lips. Novels always describe it like this. She focuses on her work, and I would unconsciously think of her hard work, and a quiet heartache would well up inside me. I could tell she was very busy. The light but deep sound of typing continuously echoed in the air, making the room feel very quiet. My gaze fell on Jung-ni's collarbone, and my tone was a little weak. I came without notice this afternoon. Did I bother you? Not at all. Jung-ni patted my head. With you here, I feel very at ease. I immediately dismissed my sensitivity and self-blame. I took Jung-ni's hand and quietly intertwined our fingers, just like this. I'm truly very content. Pei-yu, Miss Jung is here. Where? I immediately looked towards the source of the sound. The next second, the corners of my mouth were curved into a happy arc. Tisk, tisk, I tricked you. Look at you smiling so sweetly. I angrily told my colleague to get out. After my colleague left, I picked up my phone and looked at the reflection on the screen. Sure enough, I saw a face as gentle as water. It was almost time to get off work. I rushed to finish my work. The moment I lowered my head, the faint fragrance from my clothes wafted into my nose. We fooled around too late last night, so I couldn't get up in the morning. I casually grabbed a white t-shirt as an undershirt, only to realize later that it was Jung-ni's. It made me wrap myself up tightly all day. My good mood was written all over my face. Pei-yu, your Miss Jiang is here to pick you up. It's for real this time. I hurried outside. Outside the research institute, the car had just backed into a parking spot, and the woman opened the car door and got out. Even from several meters away, I could feel her beauty. My heart felt like it was about to jump out of my chest, but my expression remained calm as I lowered my head to adjust my clothes. Jung-ni extended her hand towards me. Are you tired? Actually, I'm not that tired. But when I heard her ask that, I hugged her tightly, but my mouth only said, a little. Our Pei-yu has worked hard. Jung-ni took my hand. He'll take you out for a big meal. I feel like I will love Jung-ni for a lifetime. On a weekend when neither of us was busy, Jung-ni prepared a car full of gifts, ready to go with me to meet my parents, to take our relationship to the next step. Yes, she really wants to marry me and be my wife. She can't wait another moment. In the days to come, we will definitely be as brilliant as the sun, loving each other for all eternity.